Tezos. Say they want a blockchain, right? Or do they? They want a blockchain that facilitates formal verification. That's formal verification, baby. Proof of stake, POS. Governance mechanism. Let's roll, baby. Tezos. Yeah, Tezos. Would that be that Tezos? Hey, yeah, that be that Tezos. 3.0. Yeah, that 3.0. Generation on them, call that Tezos.
All right, hey everybody, here we are. It is March 2nd, and it's time for another episode of the Tezos Roundtable with three of your favorite Tezites, Tezonians, Tezoites, taco eaters, whatever you want to call us. We got Jovan on the line, and we got Mike on the line. Say hi, guys.
Hey, what's up? How we doing, guys? Sorry about that. Hey, Mike.
Good to see you guys again.
Nice to see everybody.
Awesome. So, here it is, the beginning of March, and we have been silent. I've been silent for the last month. Jovi's been releasing videos like a madman. Thank you, Jovan, for doing that for all of us. But Mike and I have been quiet, working on projects, and Mike has been traveling the world as well, which is awesome. Right. But we the three of us know that the community needs a regular set of updates about what's going on from the community's perspective. Like, none of the three of us are real insiders here yet. We've worked on different things, trying to help Ryan be successful, trying to help the devs be successful and whatnot. But we all have kind of we have the community at heart, and we have independent view on how things are moving for Tezos. And so we're really interested in getting in front of you guys on a monthly basis, at least, and giving you an update on how we see things. So think of this as the February update, because February was by far the most pivotal month for Tezos since I'd say the fundraiser back last July. So we're going to talk you guys through some of the things that we saw in February, what we think it means, how it happened, and then we're going to do a little forecasting on, when are we going to get our Tezies, right? So I'll turn it over to you, Jovi. What you got for us to talk about?
All right, yeah. So let's recap February, right? So on February 2nd, Tezos community launched the T2 Foundation with good old Ryan Jesperson, who is now the president of the foundation. Jonas, who is Ryan?
Yeah, totally. So a little background on what happened, how this all came about, and I would Mike may not want me to reveal this, but this is all really Mike's fault, because because there was a point in time, Mike, and you can probably go through it, when you decided that something needed to be, like, a group of concerned citizens needed to be pulled together, and you created a Riot chat room, right? Take us back to that time.
Yeah, so it basically was me wondering what was going on back in late last year. And I created a room just with Kathleen, where I was just chatting with her and saying, we need to figure out what's going on. I mean, there must be some sort of solution to this problem. And she really didn't want to get, she couldn't actually get all that involved in it. So she said, well, just start chatting with some of the other concerned people and go from there. And so we just started bringing on more and more people into this room, that we just started talking about what we could do from a community perspective. It started to evolve into the various different petitions. So it turned into the petition page, where we started writing the actual wording of the petition. We started setting up the actual website for the petition. And then it just started to evolve. Ryan really just stepped up himself. Nobody asked. He stepped up himself and started coming up with the idea of, what about setting up a secondary foundation? And that chat room just started to slowly grow into what we saw in the last month or so as a real live new foundation, that we had new board members and a new possibility of launching the Tezos platform on that foundation, in which case we all saw what happened after that.
Yeah, totally. I remember, I think it's funny, because in kind of this Tezos organizer chat room that we created, there's about half the people who are using real names, and there's about half the people who are using screen names. And so we've got some organizers in there, like 0 Hour Zulu, who you also guys know on the on the regular Tezos chat, who like were incredibly instrumental in pulling all of this off, writing the petitions, agitating for strategy, doing massive edits on things, working with folks like Class Air and others to get the petition up on Tezos Help. And I don't have any idea who the guy is or gal is, to be frank with you. But I'd like to meet him or her at some point in time. And I even offered, I know this person is somewhere in California. I said, hey, let's get together. He or she was like, no, I'm good. I just want to stay anonymous and be a voice.
Yeah, some of the anonymous people really contributed the most.
Yeah.
And so these people are not doing it for personal fame and glory. They're doing it for the betterment of Tezos.
Yeah,
which is really great.
For sure. And I know that I personally highlighted some of those guys in one of my past videos in terms of, just sending them a shout out and thanking them for, the comments and all of the work that they do behind the scenes and without putting their face out there. And like Mike said, going out for the fame. I find that humbling. Mr. Zero Hour Zulu. I think that that humbleness about him is really cool.
Yeah, awesome. So we had the T2. The petitions came out, and then one day Ryan springs up in the chat group and is like, "Hey guys, we need to hire a lawyer in Switzerland." Right? That's right. And he started soliciting us, and he's like, "Who wants to go in with me and give me, let's go." Yeah, give me your passport. Give me your claim about why you want the foundation to straighten itself out, and we're going to go hire a lawyer in Switzerland.
Yeah, I have to admit that was pretty stressful. Some guy pops up and says, "Hey, can you send me a scan of your passport?" And I was thinking to myself, "Yeah, maybe. Sure, why not? Let's get this thing going." And even Ryan himself was a little bit anonymous in the very first little while, using just his screen name. And then finally, when he really started to take a real command of the situation, Ryan came out publicly as to who he was and his first and last name. And then really, he just ran with it. He ran with it like he was doing a sprinting marathon. It was he hired the lawyer. He gathered a lot of the information, and finally, he just was taking the charge and running the show. And he did a great job.
Yeah,
totally. I mean, I was like blown away. He started spouting out this stuff about Swiss law and what we needed to do, as a community. And I'm like, who is this guy?
Exactly. Who is this guy?
I was like, I looked him up on LinkedIn, and then I reached out and connected with him. And I was like, you have to be connected. Are you connected? Are you a friend of Arthur? Are you, how do you know so much about what we need to do? And he's like,
wasn't he just a concerned investor? He's just,
He's like, I'm just this guy in Utah who wants to make a difference.
Yeah, I was the first one to figure out who he was because he had actually linked his iPhone to the chat room, and so I could find out his name on there, and so I pinged him on LinkedIn. He's like, "Oh, how did you find me?" And he basically said, "Okay, well, now that everybody knows, might as well just go public with the information," and then he went from there.
Very nice.
Cool. So we launched the T2 Foundation. That was mid-month, I think. Ryan did a great job of identifying folks from around the crypto community and around the globe who should participate in T2 from a board member. And we put out the video with Olaf and Ryan and myself talking about the launch of the foundation, which was pretty awesome. Got a ton of coverage for that. Got that Wall Street Journal article, I think, that discussed it as well, which was fantastic.
Yeah, I was driving back home. I was driving back from Chicago, back to Champaign, listening to it over on YouTube, listening to from my phone on YouTube. Who is Olaf? Who is this guy?
Well, Olaf is one of the primaries of Polychain Capital. So he's very well respected in the crypto community, in the crypto investing community. If you look online, you can see quite a number of interviews that he's done for various different financial, news channels and also online magazines and things of that nature. So, he's one of the players in the crypto investing space.
Yeah, totally. Sure. There's a whole legend around Olaf and his mullet for sure. He was
legend of the mullet. That's true.
He was like the first employee at Coinbase. When he came out of school, he had written a thesis on the crypto space. Went to work for Coinbase and went to work. And the legend is he worked for Bitcoin exclusively when he was there. And after a couple of years at Coinbase, he had the credibility to go start one of the first venture capital firms in the crypto space.
Called Polychain Capital, correct?
Right, exactly.
That's right.
Oh, very nice, very nice, very nice. And so what we have after that is we have a speech by Kathleen over at UCLA. It was some type of blockchain summit or conference or talk where she kind of mentioned that the Tezos team might go rogue. All right, and soon after that, maybe a few days, maybe a week, Mr. Johan Gievers leaves the foundation. What's up with that, guys?
Yeah, totally. I think this was things were rolling in the right direction after the T2 Foundation announcement came out. Ryan was really energized to get that ball rolling. I think as a community and community organizer, we had 100% belief that the T2 Foundation could be the right place to launch Tezos.
For sure. If
the foundation was not able to solve its issues, we were completely comfortable with the devs going with T2. And Ryan went to Europe to take that message to them.
Yep.
And then you saw Ryan posting pictures with the developers and with various board members, so forth and so on. I think the pressure really started coming hard on Johan and the foundation at that point in time. And then when Kathleen, I think in a fairly strategic masterstroke mentioned that, hey, the devs could go rogue, right? They might very well. She didn't say that the devs might very well launch with T2, but I think she was trying to put pressure on everyone that you guys got to take Ryan seriously because it doesn't have to go down the way you think it's going to go down. And shortly thereafter, like you said, Ryan became the president of the Tezos Foundation.
Yeah, I think that the key was to set up a very good, viable alternative. To say that the original Tezos Foundation has an actual alternative in the form of T2. So we weren't completely 100% locked with the original foundation. Staying with the original foundation as long as it's fixed is fine, but you need to know that there is a real possibility that we could have gone to T2. Yeah. I think that just put pressure on the first foundation, saying, they're no longer the only ones that can launch Tezos. And again, Ryan should take all the credit for that, since he really took the initial just chat that we were doing and ran with it in a legal way, which is very tough. T2 was not just a fake play. It is a real organization with real legal structure.
Yeah.
All set up correctly in Switzerland, and was ready to go as we all said.
Yeah, with Ryan being the head of the T1 or the Tezos Foundation, one could say that T2 is in control now, right? Ryan is T2, and now he is the Tezos Foundation. He's the president of the foundation. So T2 kind of got its way in the end anyways, right?
Not only that, but the news over the last couple of days was expanding the board. Basically, almost everyone who was on the T2 board is now on the Tezos.
Olaf's there.
Yeah, Olaf, but
his mullet.
Yeah, and everyone else, all the other really impressive Swiss and French folks who we had identified are now part of the actual foundation, which is great.
It remains to be seen what happens to the actual T2 foundation. The important part is that the structure that was set up for T2 is now effectively in place for T1. Right. All the really good benefits that we were trying to put in place effectively got transferred over to T1, which is really positive news.
Yeah, I think I had mentioned in one of my videos that Ryan was he's one of us, right? He was a community member. He was a concerned investor. All right, and what better place could we ever be with that type of person at the helm of the ship, along with French developers that are probably close to Arthur and them, and they know what they're doing. So now you got a community member as the head of the foundation, and then you got the tech behind it. it just seems like all the wheels are rolling in the same way.
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And the great news that came out was everything happens so fast these days. I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday, but the foundation came out and announced that funds are flowing now, right? So the money is now being facilitated to the Tezos engineering team,
right.
and they're going to be able to ramp up from their 10 to 12 headcount that they have today up to 35 to 40, they said.
Yes, what something like that.
I think that's their target. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I will say that Jonas over here at Tezos Community has not got his reimbursement yet. Ryan, I'm talking to you. Send me my money.
I was there. It was a great event. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was worth the money.
Just keep the money. Keep the money. Just give me some more Tezzies.
Tezzies, right? Exactly.
That's right.
I want to be reimbursed with Tezzies.
That's what's hard to come by.
Now.
Yeah. Dude.
By the way, I don't have tote bags today, but I do have my Tezzies.
Oh, nice.
We all represent.
The best I have is a sticker.
Yeah,
that's the best I've got.
I shout out to Killer Whale on Twitter for this shirt. He was printing them up. So
shout out to Killer Whale. Shout out to Killer Whale. There we go. So, hey, Jonas, man, tell us about ZeroNet.
Well, I guess the question is, when are we going to launch this thing?
Right.
And how do we get from the AlphaNet that we have today to getting our Tezzies distributed? Right. And I would say any speculation that you're about to hear from myself or from Mike or from Jovi is purely our own speculation, because we don't really have inside connections that have said anything about what the timing is for stuff. But I've been working a lot on delegation and learning how to bake and stuff like that. Mike's been delegating for a while on the AlphaNet. Yep. Jovi, you've started baking on the AlphaNet.
Mike hooked me up. He showed me everything I needed to do, man. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun.
We're all doing cool stuff. In fact, I just thought I'd just give me a second here. I'm going to share my screen here if I can. Let's see. How do I share my screen? I think I do it over here somewhere. Wait a second. Screen share.
Are you baking on the AlphaNet?
I am. I just wanted to share this awesome Tezos Block Explorer.
Oh yeah.
Called Tezos Scan, and let me see. Let me present this to everyone here.
Dan,
there you guys see that?
Heck yeah!
Yep.
Yeah,
I
cool. So,
bad boy.
This is today's view of the AlphaNet, right? So the fine developers at OCaml Pro. We all know OCaml is the language that Tezos is written in, and OCaml Pro is the leading developer of OCaml technologies in Paris. They launched a couple weeks ago. They launched this website called Tezos Scan or Tezos Scan or tzscan.io is the URL, and you can go there today and you can see an excellent snapshot of what is going on with the AlphaNet. You can see they got, this is their homepage. They got information on the price of Tezos futures. They got where we are in the blockchain, how many blocks have been baked. Here we got block 92,509 was blocked 34 minutes ago. Actually, I probably should refresh this because
there's a bunch of statistics that they come out with as well.
Hey, go back there.
Dang it. There we go. Can you see it still? 37 seconds ago, we had a block baked. So everything's running nicely. 2 green nodes up here on the AlphaNet. Yeah, and then you can, like Mike said, the statistics, you can go here and you can see who's connected to the AlphaNet right now. There are 41 peers connected. You can see where they are, 1 node in the Russian Federation, 1 in Finland, 6 in France, 25 in the United States. That's you and me, and
1 in Argentina.
That's right. We got 1 in Argentina. People are checking.
Go back to that screen. Go back real quick. I want to see something.
To the home screen.
Yeah. Okay, you see that transaction there? That's my transaction to my baker. Yep.
Nice. Good job.
Once you look at the AlphaNet so much, you'll know your hashes.
That's true.
you know, you'll know.
Well, one thing I want to say also is that I definitely love Tezos Scan, but I want to give a shout out to Freddie C. and his
Oztez.
Oztez. Oztez I use every single day. It's a much more list-based, simplified view, so it doesn't have as many bells and whistles. So if you want bells and whistles, by all means, the Tezos Scan is fantastic. If you want just a pure list view of the block explorer, check out Fred C's Oztez site. What's the URL for that? I think that there's room for multiple explorers in this space, especially when they have such different styles.
Most blockchains do, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but we got cool stuff on bakers here. You can see who's been baking. How much
I haven't seen this.
Making.
Yeah, these are cool.
Yeah, they've got how many blocks have been baked per day on the AlphaNet. So here you can see kind of that the fact that the AlphaNet's running. Here's all the way back in December, now into January. It looks like we had some issues here around the early February, and then in mid-February we've been baking 1,000 blocks a day. Over the last 10 days or so, it's been very stable around 1,000 blocks a day, as you can see.
All right, so I want to mention this. After, you know, Mike showed me the ropes on how to get the AlphaNet running, but the way that I was doing it at first is my method was I was using a virtual box, right, to install Ubuntu in. All right, and from there I would run the 7 lines of code that that Mike told me was needed, basically to there's a Docker, and then there's the Tezos library. The problem for me, it seemed to be, was RAM. Now, because I was running the AlphaNet in that virtual box, I only had 8 gigs of RAM here on this rig that I built. And so Windows, remember, because it's a shell, I'm running it in a virtual machine on a Windows setup. And so Windows still needed about 3 gigs of the 8 gigs of RAM that I have dedicated on this computer at this point in time to run itself. And so it just seemed that you know, I would download blocks and then it'd bootstrap me to the network and I'd get nowhere. Okay. So what I did is I went out and I got a blank DVD and I burnt Ubuntu to it. I put it on my computer and I erased Windows. It freed up that whole 8 gigs of RAM for Ubuntu to use, and it's been running fine. I synced with I had one restart. That was it, one restart. And before, I was restarting it like every freaking, maybe every, you know, 10 minutes or so. And you're coming back from October all the way up until this point. And so until the AlphaNet's reset, that's where your starting point is. So that worked for me. Ubuntu, if you got a Linux machine, you got 8 gigs of RAM or more, you're in the money.
Yeah, that's basically correct. One of the major concerns when you're in the technical Riot chat room, the hashtag Tezos chat room, is, you know, what kind of resources do you need to run a consistent and effective Baker node? And there have been some people who have gotten away with a 4 gig system, but not many. Usually it locks up us in that area. So I would just say, be safe, dedicate a good solid 8 gigs to your system, and you'll probably be just fine. I think processor is a little less intensive. I don't think that it really matters a whole lot as long as you have a modern day processor. You have, you know, a fair amount of hard drive. But if you're limited on your RAM, it's going to cause problems.
Right.
4 might cut it, but just go with 8, and it's definitely going to cut it.
Cool. Very nice.
Cool. So, you know, where does this leave us, right? So one of the things we know is a bunch of us have services that we're running on the AlphaNet. It's working great. It does have times when it seizes up, and there's obviously some bugs in it. But we also know that the AlphaNet code base is majorly behind where the devs are right now. In fact, someone mentioned that there's 300 or 400 pull requests behind. So if you look at what's on GitLab versus what's on the AlphaNet GitHub, it's night and day. So we all expect that the AlphaNet's going to get reset here in the next week or two, and it's going to have major set of improvements associated with it.
Right. That's right. And anyone who's developing on the platform also needs to realize that there are going to be so many updates that it could cause some of the connections that you have not to work. It could cause some of the apps that you've created to need adjustment. That's just that's just part of the development game is that there will be a need for updates.
So if I was on the dev team, I would imagine that I'm hoping to push out a new version of the AlphaNet that is code complete, that represents what I want to launch the Betanet with the real Genesis blockchain information.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that I can get that out in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping that we can run it for a month or so probably and give the third-party developers, the community, an opportunity to update their apps and their systems.
And there will be a security audit as well. Kathleen even mentioned a while back that they've got a company that is going to start doing security audits.
Security audit, I agree. Yeah. Right. And then I'm going to do bug fixes, and I'm going to hopefully be ready from a technical perspective to launch the Betanet, which would be, a live network with real Tezos, 30 to 60 days from whenever that AlphaNet reset is.
Right. And I want to chime in here. It's very important, right, that this thing launches correctly, because then if there's some type of horrible bug, right, your Tezos will be worth nothing. Everybody's going to call it a failed project. All the fudders are going to come out, all the trolls are going to come out, and all their wishes are going to be obtained. Okay. All right. There's a lot of people out there hoping that Tezos does fail, and there's a lot of people that want to see it succeed. And you got to remember that Tezos is bringing something to the table that wasn't here before. That was the whole point. That was the whole point of the ICO. That's why this community is so global, and that's why proof of stake is such a big deal. That's why OCaml is such a big deal, and formal verification is such a big deal. And any developer, and I'm not a developer, but I'm not stupid. And so when a developer tells me, look, you shouldn't give dates for launch on software, then he's probably right about that. And so if your Tezos mean something to you, right, let this thing take its time. Arthur and the devs, they know what they're doing. All right.
Yeah. I think the key also is that very substantial positive progress is being made. The foundation issue is no longer an issue. And now it's just time to give the team patience enough to develop the product that they want to develop in a secure and reliable way.
Right.
And I think that if that takes an extra month on top of after the AlphaNet reset and after the ZeroNet figures itself out, if that takes an extra month, that's a month I'm more than willing to give Tezos for a secure, stable product. Yeah. I think before everyone was concerned not when they would launch, but if they would launch. I think now that we know that everything is taken care of, it will launch.
Yeah, for sure.
So that part of the FUD is pretty much gone.
Yeah, that's dead.
Now it's just a matter of when will it launch, and I'm willing to give them some extra time to make it a really solid, productive, secure launch.
Yeah, because sorry, go ahead, Jonas.
And I was just saying, in fact, if you think about it from an operational perspective, there's probably almost as much work that needs to be done on the administrative side to make this thing launch as there is on the dev side going forward, right? There's from customer support and training to making sure the wallets are managed in the right way, to making sure that everybody who has Tezos come on their way knows what to do with it, to making sure that there are delegators in place that can actually handle the delegation with enough bonding Tezos to be able to process the delegations, to making sure that any third parties know what they're doing from launching their perspective, launching their application. All that is potentially non-technical. It doesn't have to do with core dev, but it all has to be organized for us to launch effectively.
And also, Ryan and the new board, they just need time to ramp up. They're just getting their feet wet in the new foundation. They've got some previous legal baggage that they have to take care of, and that's been accumulating for the last 6 months. So beyond just the technical part of launching Tezos, the new foundation just needs time to figure out each new step, and we need to make sure we give them time and not try to rush it.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
No, I totally agree.
Cool. So all right. So then we'll what's the over under? When's the launch day, Mike?
I would actually be, I hate to say, I'd be disappointed if they launched earlier than a month, because I think that there's enough to do to make it right that it almost has to be more than a month from now.
Yeah.
In my mind. Okay. And I'm fine with that.
Right. No, but I need you to pick a date. Pick a date.
Ha!
And of course, you have no insight, so it doesn't
I have
really
no
matter.
insight.
If you had to pick a date, what do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. June 1st.
June 1st.
April 28th.
April 28th.
Yeah.
All right. I'll split the difference. I'll go with May 10th.
Fair enough. I think you guys are actually closer to the mark. I think June is a little late, but I think that you guys are close.
I was trying to get close to Mike's. I think Mike's right, probably.
All right, so we'll see. All right, anything else on our agenda here today?
As long as they don't launch on April 1st, that'd be weird. Yeah.
Don't Johan us again, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Jovi, anything else to cover here today?
No, but you guys know you'll see me sometime, maybe this weekend again with a video. I can always be doing something for the community, or sometime next week for sure.
Totally. Yep. My shout out is if you guys have time, check out the new Tezos.community website. We've been doing some major improvements on the website, hopefully building it up here over the next couple months to be the heart of Tezos community activity, right?
Yeah,
so we already have the forums, but we're trying to get a website up with the latest news, videos like this one, and all kinds of goodness over the next couple months.
And Tezos.help, guys. That's where you can find a lot of different resources. In a couple of my videos, I mention wallets that are going to be coming up here, and that will be with Tezos upon launch, that have the delegates built in, the delegation services built into the wallet. So like Tezbox and things like that. So you can go to Tezos.help and you can find those resources and get an idea of some of the decentralized applications that are already being developed and built around the Tezos ecosystem.
Yeah, I'm also a fan of Tezos.rocks. That's a good one too. A listing site that talks about a bunch of different services and wallet applications and things of that nature on Tezos.rocks.
I remember when Pedro came, he chimed in on Riot, and he's like, "Hey guys, Tezos.rocks URL is available," and I was like,
I remember that.
I was like, "Well,
why does that not exist already?
Build something there, dude."
Yep, that's right.
That's what he did. So that was awesome.
I remember that.
Yeah,
and then check out my Twitter, just @CryptoDelegate. So there's
how could you miss
I
it?
post.
Well,
you know, we're not as big as you.
Tezos Twitter out there.
We're only second as entertaining as your Twitter at the Tezos community. Yeah. But we try hard.
You guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us here for this rambling February update, recorded in early March, and we promise to be back soon, giving you our opinion of all things Tezos. So say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Have a good one. See you guys soon.